Hey everybody, it is your girl Coco Kitten Bruja here, and I am here to do a deck review on a deck that I'm sure a lot of you already have. But I would be remiss if I didn't do a deck review because this is literally in my top 3 favorite tarot decks of all time. It is the Seers Tarot by Chris Ann. It is phenomenal. 10 out of 10 will recommend. I'm just gonna start off that way. But let's dive into the review, shall we? It is a 2-part box, which y'all know I love. Very sturdy, very durable, easy to travel. They're about the size of a playing card, which makes it super easy to shuffle. And again, easy to travel. The book is amazing, but it is very easy to read. You have your table of contents here. She goes into different spreads you can use. And then she starts off with the major arcana, of course. Now for this particular deck, she goes into the Light Seer and the Shadow Seer, which would be upright and reverse. And then she goes into a quick little spiel to break down the card. Now it doesn't seem like there's a lot to it, but this deck is so impactful and the words are very concise. She uses words that, like the way that she wrote them, you don't need a whole bunch of words to explain what these cards mean. Especially if you're intermediate to advanced, you already know what the cards mean, right? But if you're a beginner, she breaks it down in such a simple way that you can understand it without fail. And she even gives you a quick little affirmation to go with it, right? Super, super awesome. Goes right into the major, the minor, it's all there. But let's get into the cards. The cards. Now, I don't really care about the back of the card. It's not something that I'm super drawn to. But the deck. I will say, without a shadow of a doubt, you can fight me on this. I will die on this hill. This is the most oracle-like tarot deck I've ever seen. And because of that, I use this deck almost daily because I always see something new in the cards. I see a new way of looking at this deck every single time I use it for a read. The imagery is just beautiful. There's so much. Look at that High Priestess. What? There's so much that goes into these cards. So much to interpret, so much to see in these cards that it's just, they're just a pleasure to look at. And they're so diverse and they're so just vibrant that your intuition immediately just picks up on things when it comes to this deck. Now, when it comes to the Chariot, I have looked at this card so many times, and every time I look at this card, I find a new way to interpret it when it comes up in a reading, and it's phenomenal. I absolutely stan this deck 1000%. This deck has not failed me ever. I travel with this deck. I definitely use it for client work. Now, this particular deck, I love the Tower card in it because it's not a typical Tower card. Like, there's not a lot of destruction. Despite the lightning bolt that you see, it's not completely destroying this. It's removing what no longer serves you, right? It's removing the excess. So that's just one way to interpret this particular Tower card, but I love the imagery gives you things like that. It's just absolutely gorgeous. So now we're going to go into the minor. And again, you would think that you were looking at an oracle deck with how vibrant and how unconventional this deck is. I'm such a fan. Such an absolute fan. I see these, I see this deck used by a lot of spiritualists, and I completely understand why. I got this deck from Amazon. You can also find it on hayhouse.com. I got this deck when it first dropped, and I have been shouting from the mountaintops how much everybody needs this deck. This deck is amazing for beginners. I think that this deck should be in every beginner's arsenal, simply because once you get an understanding of this deck through these images, there's no tarot deck that you won't be able to interpret based on this deck, because there's so many areas of interpretation that you can get from one card, that anytime you see the Fool card, you'll automatically start feeling the feeling and the energy that you get from this particular deck, on top of whatever your intuition calls from any other deck. I'm in love with this deck. I am 1000% in love with this deck. It drew me in immediately, with no hesitation. Now, like I said, as far as shuffling, there's usually no problem. It shuffles very, very well. Now, I will say this. The card itself is kind of flimsy. They feel more like cardboard, not in a bad way, but they don't feel like that really glossed over overlay of other cards. Like, it's very much cardstock. So I'd say I'm doing very well. I use these cards daily, and they're still in very good shape. Now, because of my side shuffling, you see the wear and tear here, but everywhere else, they're in very good condition. Despite being a little on the flimsy side, they are very durable. So let's see what jumps out. As you can see, they side shuffle very well. That Three of Wands. I'm gonna let you guys look up the meaning of the Three of Wands. Let you guys interpret that one. How does the Three of Wands resonate with you and your current situation as you're watching this video right now? Let me know in the comments. Also, let me know how you feel about this deck. Like I said, I absolutely 1000% am an ambassador for this deck, but I want to know how you feel. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Especially if you hate it, because I love to know if there's a reason why you don't like this deck. Just let me know anything in the comments. And also, guys, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more deck reviews, readings, and all kind of fun shenanigans. Until then, peace.